Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some 21-0 Infinity Doubles gameplay. It's on the map Haven. I'm playing with my good friend Ubernick TV. Now, I mentioned him in my previous video, but he's actually made a YouTube channel recently. He makes really personable commentaries and is a pretty darn strong player to boot. So I advise you guys go give him your attention and see if he's worth your while. You shouldn't regret it, I hope. Now, I had a topic that I wish to discuss. Before I do, I'd just like to thank Halo4Follower for giving me the chance to appear on his channel and welcome anyone who's come from that shout out. Basically what I try to do on my channel is get high scoring gameplays and come up with a hopefully insightful commentary to go along with that. I don't really hold back from giving my opinions on this channel. I don't want to create a channel which is just, you know, raw data almost, and you're not necessarily getting something out of it. Personally, I love that YouTube is a platform where people are able to express themselves, and holding back on your opinions would really detract from that, in my opinion. So I try to be as upfront and as honest as I can. So if that means you guys disagree with me from time to time, don't be surprised and don't hesitate to call me out on it. As long as you have some good arguments to back yourself up, I'm totally fine with that. Now, I had a topic that I wish to discuss with you guys today, and that is regarding movement in Halo 5. Now, this isn't going to particularly pertain to sprint in particular. That was a confusing sentence, but there we go. This isn't going to necessarily 100% pertain to sprint, because I've talked about sprint in previous videos, so I don't want to go on about it. But basically, where I stand on the sprint issue is that I think the idea of the sprint mechanic is bad, but I don't necessarily think that having higher movement speed in a Halo game is bad 100%. I think if you just increase the base player movement speed, it would mean that players had higher strafe and higher mobility, and it would be more exciting. But the idea of the sprint animation takes away from that, because, you know, having sprint doesn't necessarily increase your strafing speed, and it doesn't also, it also punishes you for moving around corners fast. By meaning that you have to stop for a second and wait for your gun to raise up. And sometimes it takes too long, and it just slows down gameplay, and it can get quite frustrating. But I'm not here to talk about sprint. I just wanted to give you guys my base opinion. What I wanted to say is I had a kind of new idea that I wanted to be implemented into the Halo movement system. Now, when you're moving around as a super soldier Spartan man, it kind of feels that your movement is debilitated in a way. And that's not something you want to feel in a game like this, where you're supposed to be a Master Chief, where you're supposed to be a Super Spartan. You want to feel like you're dominating people. You want to feel like you've got full control over your limbs and your movement, or otherwise it's going to take away from the feeling of immersion. And sometimes when I move around in Halo, especially in the older Halo games, it kind of does feel like you're like a brick. You're just a massive brick that's just like floating about, and it doesn't necessarily feel as immersive as I would want it to. How I think they could tackle this is by basically having a system where, for example, if you were bottom middle on Haven and you wanted to get up to the top, they could have one of two things. Now, they could either have it so that if you jump high enough, you cling onto the ledge above you, but it has a certain delay in the animation for climbing up. So it's not necessarily 100% easy to do it, and you can technically be punished for it. But if you are able to, you know, get on your own, get in a safe position to do so, you can, you know, quickly climb up and try and get away with it, and then you're able to traverse the map faster. You could also have a system where if you are hanging off the ledge, you can use maybe your secondary, like your pistol, and hover it over the edge and then shoot at people down, so you're not completely hopeless. But also, like, definitely not be able to use your primary weapon, because then you would just destroy people and people would camp using it. But if your head was fully sticking out and it was easy to shoot you, you were still a target, but you could use your pistol as that last line of defense. That would be really cool. And what I also think they could do is they could have certain walls, if they were placed at a certain angle, you could perform a small timed wall jump. But you have to get the timing on your button presses pretty much 100%, or otherwise it's not going to work and you'll fumble the jump. And maybe they could have a fumble animation where you are punished once again. I think all they need to do, because, you know, obviously we don't want overpowered stuff where people are traversing the map in 2 seconds and it's near impossible to capture an objective. All they need to do is have timed punishings where if you do screw it up, or if someone does manage to catch you at the wrong time, you get completely destroyed for it. So it's all about using it at the right time and the right place. And this is kind of all inspired by the idea of the thruster pack in Halo 4, because I think it was one of the best things for movement. I think it's greatly enhanced movement in Halo 4, and it's been really exciting to learn all these new routes and see people use them in action. It's definitely been a cool addition to the game. Anyway, if you agreed with a couple of these ideas, maybe I'll develop upon them in future videos. But my name has been Modest Major. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.